I mean, the social and the brain damage you're doing is one thing. I'm just talking about damage to the body itself, because it not only damages your liver, it could damage your heart.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Oh, thank God. Nicole and Maria, they finally made it.
Yay! I love them.
Nicole and Jimmy, and of course, Maria Q. Kane. Get the whole name in there. Mom and daughter, of course, the stars of our Mother Knows Death podcast on the Elvis Duran Podcast Network. May I just give you a little business, by the way?
Sure.
In all of our podcasts on our network, you guys are one of the best. You guys are doing so well. You're killing it.
Thank you.
Speaking of killing it,
Who?
your weekly podcast, of course, focuses on pathology, forensics, death, and you don't do it in an overly clinical way. You guys talk about all these incredible fun subjects in a way we understand what you're saying, and I appreciate that.
Thanks. I feel like when I was in college, I had a really hard time understanding all of these fancy medical words, so I had to dumb it down for myself. I'm a high school dropout.
Well,
so, I had to bring it down to my level, but then I feel like that helps me explain it to people better.
But both of you are, I feel stupid after a moment or two with you both, because you both are so educated, especially, hyper-focusing on pathology. It is just, don't you feel like you learn something every time you hang out with them?
Without a doubt. I mean, even if you just follow them on Instagram or follow Mother Knows Death and Mrs. and Jemmy on Instagram, you learn so much about like mystery diagnoses and all kinds of other things.
Well, Gandhi, you brought them to us first.
Yeah.
You had them on your podcast. What was it that was so interesting to you about them that made us go, oh my God?
So,
we're going to steal them from you.
I love women in science, number one. So that is always exciting to me. But the stories that they have, especially Nicole, about her time doing, pathology assistant research and pulling things apart. And when she said everything that gets taken out of a body comes to her, and then she gets to analyze it and kind of figure out what happened here or what's going on with it, I was riveted, especially when you find out some of the things that come out of a body.
So you would go in with all the pathology team, and after someone passes away, you go inside and try to figure out why they died.
There's
tell us.
There's two different divisions of our job, which is one is surgical pathology. So any single thing that ever gets taken out of a person's body goes to our lab. So that could be something as simple as teeth or a quarter a kid swallowed. Also really weird stuff people put in their bodies.
A lot of guys tripping and falling in the shower.
Yeah.
Landing
Lots
on things.
of guys landing on things.
What's the weirdest thing that's ever come to you?
I'm sure I've said this before. It's the half-eaten pear.
I don't remember what.
There's a story behind it. Tell them the half-eaten pear story.
Oh, yeah. Some woman put a pear in her husband's rectum and started eating it, and it got sucked up.
Oh, okay.
They say never put things in there that isn't connected or
it should have a broad base, tied to like a ball and chain.
Like a tether ball.
Wow. Okay.
So but it was eaten and then
bring
that back.
I got a visual.
You stole my pear.
But what's cool though is she was talking about teeth, but also a bullet. You will take that and analyze that, right? Or a breast implant.
Oh yeah, we get
anything.
So I have gotten a bullet before. We don't commonly get them because they should go right to the medical examiner's office with the body. But yeah, I mean breast implants that fail, penis implants that fail.
Wow.
Things like, and obviously we get other things like breasts, entire breast if a person has breast cancer, or colon if a person has colon cancer.
Oh, so when I had my breast reduced, they said that they sent mine out to get checked.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out I was higher risk for breast cancer because everything gets checked and they send it out when they take it out of your body.
Yeah, so it would come to me and we would weigh it, especially in reduction cases. Sometimes the weight of it has to do if insurance will pay for it or not, if it's cosmetic or if it's actually causing you medical problems. And we cut it up and we look for tumors, and we have found incidental cancers in those.
Wow.
Yeah.
My thought is this. If I go into my doctor every year for my physical, they scan, they poke and prod, and that's about as far as they get. Blood, of course, blood, that helps. What is wrong with the thought here? I just want to go in as a somewhat healthy, functioning guy. I want you to put me on the table and just start digging around in there and try to find something wrong with me. Is that I mean, is that a stupid way to try to see if anyone has a problem brewing inside? Or, I mean, it's very invasive, I would assume, but.
An autopsy?
I want to be.
You want a surgery?
I want to be.
Wait a second.
I want to.
As like being alive, you want
I
this
want to be
done?
a living autopsy.
All right, so this is what I would
Talk to
recommend
me.
to you. They have these full body CT and MRIs you can get as it doesn't have to be ordered by your doctor. You can go and pay to get that done. If you really want to find out, that's as close as you're getting. No doctor's going to cut you open and just peek around and make sure everything's okay.
Why not? What's your problem?
What could possibly go wrong?
Anytime you open the abdomen or the chest, you can cause scarring and adhesions, which is how Lisa Marie Presley died, actually.
Oh, what?
Lisa Marie Presley died because of scarring.
Yeah, from surgical adhesions.
Wow. Hey, let's talk about that for a second. Can we talk about the book?
Yes.
Okay. So Nicole's writing a book about celebrity deaths. This is going to be fascinating because, we're fascinated with celebrity anyway.
Yeah.
But when they pass away, sometimes we don't get the whole story.
Yeah, and it's oftentimes wrong. So I've been writing about celebrity death actually for the past 5 years. So I have a collection of almost 100 of them already because I do it every week. And yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. So I started writing the book, and I've only done 9 so far because I have till next year to write it. So I've been just doing it every couple days, and but I'm doing everyone from really interesting ones like Gene Hackman that just died, and higher profile cases like Lisa Marie, but also older ones like Gilda Radner and Al Capone died from syphilis. It's just so interesting.
Wait, back up.
Wow.
I know Al Capone I can see, but Gilda Radner died from syphilis?
No. She had ovarian cancer. I'm just
I thought I knew she
sorry.
had cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had ovarian cancer.
What about Amy Winehouse? Will she be in there?
Amy Winehouse will be in there, yeah. I wrote about her a couple years ago because she died from effects of the alcoholism. So it's going to be really awesome, really. It's comprehensive, just people, Alex Trebek, Steve Jobs, just Freddie Mercury, just really, it's awesome. It's not a lot of reading because I'm not a huge reader like that. You could read one and be done and go back to it and start off. It's not a continuous book.
Like a fun little anthology.
Yeah, it's just like Cliff Notes.
One of the things that she said that I thought was so fascinating, I think about it all the time whenever we hear cause of death now, is that cardiac arrest as a cause of death is kind of a cop-out. Because everyone's going to die when their heart stops, of course. But what caused the heart to stop is more interesting, and what they kind of try to analyze there.
Talk about that.
It literally just happened yesterday because I wrote it down because I want to put it in my book. So Michael Jackson was the most, that's what they were saying. He died of cardiac arrest. But cardiac arrest just means your heart stops. So like, no shit. That's how everybody dies, right?
Right.
But yeah, so they just did it with Jane Goodall. They just came out and said her cause of death was cardiac arrest. I just saw it. Mm-hmm. And she died from complications of old age, which...
Well, that was your favorite too, right? Because that's how they said the queen
the
died.
Queen died. Old age.
Yeah, old age just doesn't answer. That doesn't answer my question. Like the body just gives out.
Yeah.
What is it? Okay. What's the scientific term for the body just gives up?
And there's things that happen as you age, like your blood vessels become weaker, and you can get calcifications and things like that, which can lead to stroke and coronary artery disease and things like that. But that would be what you put on the death certificate. That's what would be the cause of death, not old age.
Old age.
I love it. I use it in my lecture as an example of her actual death certificate. It says old age on it.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's what
it
I wanted
is
to say on
wild.
mine too.
Old age.
And
Chick
we,
got old.
in the hospital and stuff, we always have doctors that put cardiac arrest, and then we have to go up to them and say, this is not a cause of death. Like, change it. Figure out what happened and be more specific. So
It's funny though, because we had an episode coming out this week. Actually, we had another expert, Joseph Scott Morgan, on our show, and the two of them are geeking out about causes of death. And we were talking about a story where a woman unfortunately was kicked in the chest by a student and died. And I said, as a layperson, I'm accepting at face value that she just got kicked and died. And they're talking about all this, her heart could have stopped, she could have had a clog, all this other stuff. And I'm just mind blown by their
But you don't
conversation.
write kicked and died on the on the death certificate.
But I accept
some
that as the
doctors
answer.
might be surprised.
On my death certificate, I want it just to say, just gave up. He just gave up. I give up.
He was done.
Kaboom.
So is there...
Go ahead.
Is there a lot of conflict then between doctors and pathology teams when they put something like that on a death certificate and you guys come back and say, no, you need to change that? Do you guys argue about it?
No, they're usually pretty good. It's just kind of a pain because we have to track them down. And sometimes, they're gone for the night. They're not coming back for 2 days, and things like that could hold up the process. But oftentimes especially if they're getting an autopsy, they might think that they know what the cause of death was, and then we open them and we change it because it's different.
Wow.
So, and they don't argue with it. Like we just can show them this is what it is. Come look. And there's no arguing. It's science, right? Like it is what it is.
By the way, you're listening to Mother Knows Death with Nicole and her daughter Maria, stars from our podcast every week, the pathology, forensics, death, and fun stuff that goes along with it.
I'm fascinated.
In your book, though, your anatomy book,
Yes.
is there an actual alphabet? Like A is for anus?
Oh, yeah.
Can you recite every single letter?
No, it's because I wanted it to be an alphabet, and some things I had to, there's not really an anatomical organ you would say for Z, for example. So I use the zygomatic bone, which is this bone in your face here, your cheekbone.
Right.
So that sometimes I used a whole organ like the heart. Sometimes I might have used circulatory system just to fit it in. But yeah.
I need to know that you have.
X was very hard.
Well, what's
chromosome.
X?
I used X chromosome.
Okay.
Yeah, but it just was random, but I had to do it just because I felt like that would be easier for people to look at body parts. I just say it's body parts because I think I use arm. Like that's not. I guess extremity maybe I used. I don't really know. Exactly
This is my point. I need for you to nail down the official alphabet. Get back to me next time and just have that ready to go.
And recite it by heart. Yeah, I'm just like, I know there's anus, extremity, everything's there. Every single part of your body and every organ, adrenal gland. Elvis, I didn't write that book for like 3 years. My memory is just the.
Yeah, mine too.
I have the best memory and the worst memory. It's weird.
Well, isn't it funny what the brain will hold on to
It
and what
really
it won't?
is.
Well, so let's talk about that. As far as the body goes, you can see how a tendon works. You can see how a bone works or whatever. But when it comes to the brain, that's a whole other world. It's like deep sea diving. You're diving down to the bottom of the ocean, and it's a world that we're still finding out more and more every day. What have you discovered in your travels as far as pathology about the brain? Like, what has fascinated you?
Well, most people don't realize this, but there's specific there's specific brain surgeons. Well, there's specific pathologists that just do brain and spinal cord or the nervous system. Mm-hmm. And so when we take out a brain and look at it at autopsy, we're looking for something that's blatantly obvious, like they had a stroke, an aneurysm, there's a tumor or something like that. But the very specific neurological things that could happen to people, we take that brain and we save it aside, and a special neuropathologist will dissect it days later and look at it and come up with a diagnosis. If it's something like more specific, like MS or ALS or something like that.
So are you saying you didn't go to class on brain day? So you have to call in the brain day people?
Yeah. Exactly. Like it's a whole other field of medicine, essentially. It's just, and it's very hard to tell when they slice the brain. They'll just look at it and say, oh, this minute little thing is this and this.
Wow.
Huh. I mean, you can't see things grossly with your naked eye, like schizophrenia or something like that, but you could see Alzheimer's, you could see CTE, the chronic traumatic encephalopathy is the one that you associate with football players, hitting their head in multiple concussions. So you could see that, but that's their specialty, and most regular doctors don't want to deal with the brain because it's like a whole other beast.
Wow.
I bet.
Wow. Well, one of the things I learned from her about the brain, and our dentist, Elvis, he listened to the podcast and was so happy she brought it up, was how very closely your mouth is connected to your brain. And if you do not take care of your mouth, what can happen to your brain?
Maybe that's my problem.
I'm positive.
I'm going today. I'll have him do me right.
Hello.
Check that out.
But I mean, essentially a cavity can kill you, right?
Yeah, it really can.
Talk about how they can kill you.
I actually had a really crazy case of a young girl in her early 20s that had a wisdom tooth pulled out, and then she just got a terrible infection, and we got her whole entire jaw resected that they sent down to the lab because she had osteomyelitis, which is an infection in the bone, and they had to remove her entire jaw because of it. A lot of times people take for granted these minor procedures that we get done, and there could be really bad complications with simple things. I just did a case on my Instagram account. I do mystery diagnosis every week, and this week I had a picture of a person that got a full sleeve tattoo who died, and they got toxic shock syndrome from getting tattooed.
Ooh.
And whenever you hear about that, people think tampons.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what
yeah.
was drilled into our head.
Right.
But really, you can get it from something as minor of a procedure as a tattoo, because it breaks the skin and it allows in this special kind of bacteria that can release toxins that could spread to your organs and kill you. So it's and you could get it with a scrape or anything. It's just, and people think tattoos, or everybody has a tattoo, but it is you're putting a large abrasion over your skin that could you're letting down that protective barrier, and bacteria from the outside world could get in really easily.
What's up, Scary?
You know, I'm fascinated with the liver because I know that it's associated with drinking and stuff. Could you tell right away when you see a liver, like, oh, that person drank a lot over their lifetime? And what does that look like?
So first, when you drink a lot, your liver starts to get replaced by fat, and it actually gets bigger than it normally should get. And it's really cool because sometimes when you open the body, the liver's so big that you could see the impressions from the ribs because it's pushing up against the ribs. It's really, I mean, it's not cool for them, obviously, but it's cool scientifically. And then once it has it, so fatty liver is considered to be reversible. So if you ever get diagnosed with that, if you stop drinking, it could go back to normal. But once it starts scarring up, it gets cirrhosis, and then it starts to shrink, and it looks very nodular, and it's very striking. You can tell the difference, and it becomes smaller. And you also get associated things with that. You can get hemorrhoids, and if there's any kind of a blockage of the portal system, which is a part of the circulatory system that goes through the liver, it can make blood back up into the anus with hemorrhoids, and it could also do it in the esophagus. You could get swelling in the legs. You could get your spleen could get really big. So there's kind of a pattern you see with it as well.
Wow.
Fluid. You ever see like an alcoholic might have like a belly that looks pregnant on a man?
Yeah.
It's just filled with fluid. It's just a whole picture you see when you open them up.
That's how my sister was after college, in a little belly
Really?
from all the fluid.
Well, there's
All
a
the
difference
drinking.
between like the fat, because that's the omental fat. That's the fat that sits on top of your organs that acts as not only protection for your organs, but it insulates and keeps them to your body temperature as well.
So, as you know, mother and daughter doing a podcast together. How much fun do you have when you sit in front of those microphones? Both of you, talk to me about a topic or two you've had recently on the podcast where you just go on and on because you're so excited about where you're going, where you have way too much material because you just get so passionate about how much fun you're having with something.
This is the memory thing. It's like people say, "Would you?" I'm like, I don't even know what we talked about.
I mean, do you guys like? I mean, do you like to go down the morose, gross avenue from time to time? And
Oh yeah, we have fun. You know, we have some stories where we end up going on tangents where we start talking about personal stuff. We really love making fun of my grandparents. They're such easy targets, and our listeners love hearing the stories, so those are always fun. And then we fight sometimes, and the listeners seem to like that too. So
we do. We fight, and then I'm just like, she's my kid. I'm sorry. I'm going to put her in her place.
But
and
also,
then she's like, you're a boomer. Stop it. Like
oh my God.
we're also just two Italian women talking to each other, so I think people think we're always fighting, but it does
We're
happen
just loud.
sometimes.
Like, you
but...
should see our family parties. Everyone is talking over each other, and it's really loud.
No, I mean, yesterday, though, I went on especially a tangent about Kevin Federline's book for probably way too long, and everybody didn't want to hear about it, but I get passionate about things, and I feel bad for Brittany. So
Good.
yeah.
Everyone
I
has
think
an
he's
opinion on
ass
that.
for that.
And I have a different opinion.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was I was just like, nah. So yeah, I just look at it like he bailed her out, and some of the stuff that was in that book, if it's true, is like if that was a person that was living in your neighborhood, you'd be like, that person's a scumbag and shouldn't have their kids, right? Like
This is the
if it's
mother of his children.
Thank you.
And she already has issues that he has said she needs help with. So putting this out there is not helping the woman. And what are the kids thinking? How can you do that to your children?
I agree. I think he's exploiting a mentally unwell person.
Thank you.
And it doesn't matter if the kids are 5 or 45. I just think there's a point where you don't keep talking about it.
But she said she wanted them dead, so I think that they're like.
How do we know she said
she's
that?
not there. You know.
How do we know
Look,
she
it's
said
devolving
that?
into hell. Here we go.
I'm gonna get in a
He
fight
said,
again.
she said.
Are there any celebrities that you look at, or people in general that you look at, and you can tell before you cut into them, before anything comes out, that person has something going on? They're a little sick, and you know what it is.
Oh yeah.
Anyone in this
There's
room?
lots of different things.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah, and sometimes I see certain things like one thing is clubbing of the fingertips, right? So it's very unusual, and I could pick it out on a person if their fingertips. It's a certain way that their fingernails look on the tips of their fingers. And you can look at a person and just say, okay, they might have some kind of lung pathology or heart pathology going on. There's some association with it that they're not 100% sure of the mechanism of it, but it might have something to do with just an increase of blood flow to the fingertips that's causing their fingernails to look weird. But
Like
it is
what?
something.
Talk about look at my
Let me look
Don't
at
look at that
yours.
one. A nail went through that fingernail, so
Yeah.
ignore that one.
No, yours look fine.
So-
They look very specific. I don't
Okay.
think anyone here, if you had them, I would be like, yo, go
She'll
get
have
that
no
checked
problem telling you either.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You save your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell somebody if I see something that I think is alarming. And she yells at me because I'll just say something to somebody at the mall. Like,
Yeah, you look sick.
I
But
told,
you
I
never
told
know
a
who
stranger.
you're saving.
I told a stranger. You'll just go, hey, by the way, what will you see on someone? Give it as an example of what you
this
would
guy that was checking us out once, he had this Baker cyst. I saw that. I was just like, oh yeah, Baker cyst.
No, it wasn't like that. we were at Forever 21 or something buying the kids' clothes, and she just goes, Baker cyst. And she made
what's
eye
a Baker
contact
cyst?
with it.
It's
I'm
just
like,
a
are you
cyst
alright?
that develops in you know, like in your wrist there. I just thought it was. I see people all the time, and especially with when I was writing the book, I see such rare pathologies sometimes that I'm like, oh God, I really just. I'm not trying to be rude. Like I want them to tell their story, and I feel like I do that because a lot of times people look really unusual, and people are not nice to them, and they stare at them, and they're curious. But people are just curious, and they just want to know. And I think the more you just talk about all these different conditions that people could have, and just it's normal, they won't feel so isolated, you know?
Yeah, I get that. And I've been really interested, and I've talked to her about this before because she sees all kinds of things. I said, is there something that you would never allow your children to do because of what you see the aftermath is when people come in?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different things. Like some parents are crazier than me as far as like the trampoline park and stuff. I don't really care about that stuff, but I do. There's been a lot of things with rides recently of people getting killed on rides. And I let them do it, but thank God my husband let them go on that big drop thing, and he took them, and I was just like, thank God I wasn't there. Because I feel like I might be kind of a drag. Like I don't let them cross a big street in my town when every other kid in my town's allowed to cross it. Like I'm just like scared because my kids are, you know, kids today are real zoned out. They're just like, and people are drunk and drive.
Or texting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll go right up on the sidewalk, and I'm just always, I'm really scared about that. Like I worry about it a lot.
I remember you specifically saying motorcycles are an absolute no for you.
That's a no.
Or e-bikes. Now these e-bikes.
Yeah. Or the scooter rentals when we go travel and things. I'm like, no, especially with no helmets. You are crazy. And I have friends all around the country that work in emergency rooms and stuff, and just tell me like we're seeing these people, especially in cities like Miami or something that has them. Like the emergency room and trauma there are seeing them often. Just people that are visiting that are going 40 miles an hour on a scooter. Like, it's bad, you know? So
Plus, there's no helmet laws there, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
No, I see people in Miami ripping at 100 miles an hour on 95 with no helmet on whatsoever.
yeah.
That's frightening.
I mean,
Wow.
honestly, like, the helmet is not going to do anything. Like, if you're going slower, definitely. But if you're going 90 miles an hour, I don't know that that's saving your life. It's kind of a false sense of security.
Have you ever, in your time in a pathology session, what would you call that when you're actually doing the autopsy, right? Sorry. You actually get emotional and have to leave the room, and you're thinking, if only this person had made this different decision, they wouldn't be here right now. Do you ever get that wound up with it, or do you just look at the body parts as body parts and try to figure it out?
No, I mean, I've had certain situations where I've gone home and been maybe a little upset about something, but not to the point where I couldn't do my job or had to set aside, you know, like.
So you're heartless.
Yeah.
No.
This is exactly why I'm not a nurse, because I just can turn it off pretty easily.
But don't you feel like you become numb because you see so much of this?
No, I don't know that it really ever bothered me. It's very easy for me to disconnect from it, and I feel like if I was too connected, it would be I wasn't doing my job or something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain cases like we had a guy and this is just like a kind of boring death. The guy had pneumonia. He was 40, but then his wife had made sure in his body bag, like his Eagles hat was with him. And I just like, you know, that makes it like more personal. And you're like, oh God, this guy was going to watch the game this weekend, and his wife, and he's my age, or, you know, stuff like that. And, one time we got a colon in the lab for colon cancer. It was on a 19-year-old girl, and there was an obstruction. So that was not what we were thinking at all, because 19-year-olds just don't get colon cancer, right? And then we went down to get coffee, and then the family was in the coffee shop thinking like, she'll be out of surgery soon. I'm sure it's not that big of a deal. And I'm like thinking, no, she actually has really like stage 3 cancer. I just looked at it. You know, but I feel bad, and then I don't know, like you can't really function in any. I think if you talk to emergency room doctors or anything, it's just like, my husband's a firefighter. It's the same thing. Like, you can't sit there and feel bad right at the moment. Like, you go home and you're just kind of like, yeah, that was unfortunate. Wow.
So if you have advice for us, how we stay alive, what is it that we need to do that you see constantly people are messing up?
Yeah, what mistake are we making over and over and over and over?
People aren't going to want to hear this, but alcohol is terrible. It's just terrible.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Elvis? No.
She sees it all.
I feel like as the most recent study that there's no amount of alcohol that is I don't want to sound like a what's a fun sucker from
Debbie Downer.
Nate, yeah, like
Straight Nate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in moderation. Everything, you know, besides crack or something, I'm sure it's fine.
Okay. Duly noted.
Okay.
But yeah, there was so many years that would go by saying, you know what, you need to have a glass of red wine every single day, whatever. But now the new studies are saying, no, you should have nothing with alcohol in it
and like,
at all.
To say nothing is just kind of. It's like the same theory I have with taking YouTube away from my kids. Like, if I take it 100% away from them, it's just going to make them want it more, kind of. So I think people can do it once in a while, but just a lot of people drink and multiple days a week, multiple drinks, and think that they're not an alcoholic when in fact that would be the definition. So, and then that's when. I mean, the social and the brain damage you're doing is one thing. I'm just talking about damage to the body itself, because it not only damages your liver, it could damage your heart, and then of course smoking is the worst thing that was ever introduced to our society ever for health purposes.
So all the fun stuff, the smoking, the drinking. Are you gonna say sugar?
No, I mean moderate. I don't know, moderation. I don't want to be like that because like
No, it's important.
No,
I
we
want to
want
know.
you to be like
yeah.
that. Please be like that.
Please.
like look at me, like I eat a lot of sugar. You know, like I'm not like trying to. I don't drink though. I'm not. I've seen enough. I used to do the liver transplants or the explants, which is the bad liver that they took out of someone before they put the new liver in, and I just saw a lot of it, and it was enough to, scare you.
Okay.
Wow.
Note to self.
You need
Yeah.
you don't want to have to ever get a liver transplant if you don't need one. It's like really life-changing, altering surgery.
Yeah.
So
I don't want anything if I don't have to get it taken out or put in.
Exactly.
I'm all good.
So
coming up on some future podcasts, I know you have no memory whatsoever. Maybe it's the lack of alcohol. Too much sugar. I don't know. Do you have any podcast topics coming up that you are just excited to push play on and let the world hear?
Yes, we are interviewing the prosecutor from the Golden State Killer case, and that is one of my favorite true crime cases.
Talk about it.
Do you know about this crime at all?
A little bit, but nowhere near as much as you know, obviously.
So these crimes took place in California back in the 70s. For a very long time, they believed it was 3 different perpetrators. So one was just a man burglarizing houses. The second was somebody committing sexual assault. And the third was a murderer. And through all these years, they were able to tie them to one person, really through the help of Patton Oswalt's former wife, Michelle McNamara.
Wow.
So she really helped reopen that case and get some traction behind it, and she unfortunately passed away before they found the killer. But just in 2018, I believe, they were able to take DNA from a rape kit, and they found the man, and he was in his 70s living with his daughter, and they arrested him. So that was kind of a groundbreaking case for forensics using DNA in that type of way, and we were very fortunate to have the prosecutor coming on our show.
Wow.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
So next time Nate's out murdering someone, give him a little tip. What
he's like,
what are they leaving behind? Maybe not your specialty, but I'm sure maybe you've seen as far as evidence on a body. Like, what are we leaving behind that's going to get us thrown in prison?
Hair is number 1, and then in the Idaho murders case, he left behind a fingerprint on the knife's sheath. They were able to extract DNA from that. What else are people leaving behind? People think they're just such good criminals, and you would think they would get better over time with all the access to internet and these stories we have, but they're just getting worse.
Sloppy work, Nate.
Sorry, I'll do better next time.
So really, any DNA left behind, bad idea.
well,
Hazmat suits to kill people.
that's
Internet
why they
search history.
This is why they say if you ever get attacked or anything, to make sure that you scratch them to get DNA, because that's really going to be the way to really catch anyone for sure, because a lot of stuff is circumstantial and you don't want somebody getting off. Who else? We have. So do you remember Gabby Petito case?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interviewing her stepfather this week,
Oh, wow.
and that will be on next week. We're doing that. Yeah. So and he's awesome, Jim Schmidt. So he's also a fireman. So we have this like connection to talk about things, and so we're gonna really just talk about that case and just all of the trauma their family has been through. A lot of it I haven't heard really on the news or that perspective, so I'm looking forward to that.
We didn't get as gross and icky this time.
There's still time.
What's the ickiest thing you've been studying lately? That's a dumb question.
What did you just see on my Instagram?
Oh yeah, you were talking about it
Is
before
that
they
where
came in.
video safe?
On your on the Instagram, the first thing you see is
It was the word smegma,
Yes.
which we're not sure if it's schmegma or smegma, but there was a hairball, a schmegma covered hairball that you recovered.
Schmegma.
Yeah,
someone
that was
recovered?
on someone's IUD that was removed.
Yes.
So an IUD is an intrauterine device that is put up inside of the uterus as a birth control, and it has little strings that hang off of it, like little plastic sutures that hang off of it, so it could be pulled out if it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
It's also really important that thing stays in place, because that's considered a foreign body, and your body likes to attack it, and it recognizes as a foreign, and it pushes it.
Mm-hmm.
So it could go through your uterus, it could go into your colon, it can move. I had a case on my website, The Gross Room, that it moved out someone's anus.
Oh.
Like they found it in their anus, yes. So it
Fascinating.
could push through. So those strings hanging in someone's vagina, anyone that's ever had an IUD, I guess that's why it extra grossed them out, because there was a hairball stuck to it. So you think, well, how did hair get up there, all the way up?
How did it get up there?
Yeah.
We understand
Well-
the smegma part.
Through sexual intercourse?
Well, I would say yes, through sex.
Right.
I mean, if you have hair around the hole, it's bound to get up there, right?
Is it?
I mean, I don't know. I would just like
One must
putting
assume.
one and one together.
Fascinating. I love it.
It is.
There's so much good stuff.
Nicole and Maria, thank you so much for coming in today. The podcast, of course, Mother Knows Death. A part of the Elvis Duran Podcast Network, and doing brilliantly, by the way.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.